Here we are in the shop making some simple shaker style doors. They're just some things I'm doing with this that I haven't done before. Typically with a recessed panel door, especially like a two panel recessed door, I would just use my router and do the 1/4 inch in the middle hole, and I would just add on to the end of my stiles, whatever the depth of the router bit was going to take away, so that they just slide into here, and you would see a nice kind of dadoed, tongue that fit into the groove. On this though, I did pocket holes. So this is going to be a painted door, and so I thought, I wonder if I can do it with pocket holes. Obviously the hard part would be the screw of the pocket hole goes into this rail here, and if you route it for your recess panel to fit into here, you can't route it past about this point, because that's where the screw is going to be going into. So I did some messing around with pieces, and basically what I did on my router over here is I just marked where it was going to start cutting from either direction, and then I marked my boards as far as where I wanted them to stop. So you can still see just kind of a mark right here. So I have it set out because I've got my my fence that holds the board down. So I've got that mark right there so that I would stop, and then I ended up using a 1/4 inch chisel. Grab that. So then I have my 1/4 inch chisel, and I'd put that down into the groove and just make a notch and then clean it out. And then I'd have a fairly straight into my groove, so my panel would fit, and also it would still give enough support for these. Now I did mess up on a couple of pieces to where I went a little too far, but I had also tested it beforehand to see if the screw would still find something to bite into, and it does, because it goes in, probably maybe a little more than 1/2 inch into the piece of material. So even if you're missing the first 1/4 inch, it's still going in another 1/4 inch at least into this piece. So it definitely weakens the joint, but with glue, and even if you mess up in 1 or 2 places, I did not find it. I did a couple of pull tests, strength tests, and it actually is still pretty resilient, even if you do cut it accidentally too far. And then I just came back with some 3/8 inch dowel. I had oak, but just knocked them in there, and then I used my my oscillating saw to cut them out, which was a lot faster than trying to do it by hand, because I had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I had 7 doors, and they're not all little doors like that. There's 3 little doors, which each have 8 pocket holes in them, but then this door has 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. That one's got 12 in it. And then the larger doors, they've got, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20. They have 20 pocket holes in them. So altogether, I probably did around 80 pocket holes, something like that. Anyways, it was a lot of work to fill all of the holes. And on this style of door, I don't think I would do that again, using pocket holes. Like I said, this is more of a test. But if you have enough wood clamps, then it's a lot easier just to do the rail and style, typical, tongue and groove fit, instead of using pocket holes, because you just cut them all once. You put your panels in, you glue it all, and you clamp it, and that's it. With this, you've got to cut all of your pocket holes in all of your pieces, and then you have to, mark everything and line it up like you typically do, and clamp it down and screw it all together. It's just, and then the filling of the pocket holes is probably where it tips the edge to where this is a little bit more work than a typical tongue and groove. But if you don't have clamps to be able to hold your pieces together, then this is pretty much the only way you could do a recessed panel. So yeah, it works, and the finished product will look good. You see the front of the panel. That's just what it looks like. There's no difference on the front of the panel between the typical tongue and groove and using a pocket hole jig. It's all nice and tight, all the joints are good, and it's nice and sturdy. Oh, something else that I did was magnets. I got some 3/4, actually no, these are 1-inch. I got some 1-inch magnets. I think 6 of them in a pack at big box retailer is like $2.50 or something like that. Anyways, I was just thinking, instead of doing a tacky kind of, mount the metal plate on the door and then have a little receiver, thing that, I just don't like them. They move around too much. They get misaligned. It's not exact. And on this style, they don't even have something that you can really use, because this is going to be a flush inset. So that means that it's going to be fitting, flush in here into the face frame. And because of that, the other style wouldn't even work, your typical magnetic catch. So I'm going to be taking this metal and I will mount it to the face frame, so it's like that, and then the door will close, and with the overlap it'll catch on it like that. So it's not making full contact with the metal, but it doesn't need to. It's a strong enough magnet to where there's a good amount of pull. Even from about 3/8 of an inch away, it still is pulling quite a bit. So that's what I'm going to be doing for these, and especially for these big doors. I'm going to have a lock in the middle. All these cabinets will have locks, and then there will be a magnet up top and a magnet down at the bottom. So there'll be a handle with a lock in the middle, and then 2 magnets up and down to pull it in. So yeah, just a few different things I'm doing on these doors that I haven't done before, and it turned out well. It just took more time, but the end product will be good for a paint grade job.